Tonight, several community members brought up concerns at council last night over a proposed development in College Heights. Plus, an annual holiday tradition by BC Transplant to show appreciation for healthcare workers is taking on an extra meaning this year. And the Prince George Urgent and Primary Care Centre will no longer be first come, first serve as they move to a triage model. Good evening and welcome to CKPG News. I'm Adam Burles. Thank you for joining us. Our top story tonight, the Urgent and Primary Care Centre at Parkwood Mall will continue to operate despite concerns about its future. It was in the middle of October when the alarms were sounded over the future of the popular walk-in clinic. At the time, Northern Health stated that it had become aware that on October 9th, 2024, the members of the Nechako Medical Clinic voted to cease providing physician staffing at the care centre effective December 7th. But Northern Health assures the clinic will remain open, though the model will be different.
Instead of first come, first serve, people are going to be seen in the order of urgency. So when you get to the urgent and primary care center, what you can anticipate is that you will come in and you will immediately be, or not immediately, but initially be seen by a nurse. And that nurse is able to help decide, is this something that needs to urgently go to a physician, or can this wait? And we really do hope to be able to move these lines a little bit more meaningfully. The approach will be to bring everybody in at once so that, again, we can have people starting to see the nurses right away and get an understanding of who is it that's sitting in the lobby. And this will allow us, again, to pull people in out of the cold, see them initially a little bit more quickly. And then if your care needs are more urgent, you'll be seen first. And then if your care needs are less urgent or you need to be directed to someone other than a physician, we can do that too. And we can do that at the same time. So while some folks are being urgently seen by the physician, we may be able to start lining up others to potentially see social work or potentially speak with pharmacy.
A public hearing was held at Monday's City Council meeting surrounding a development that could bring new housing to Prince George. Located in the area of St. Lawrence Avenue and Vista Ridge Drive, the development could bring housing for hundreds of people. However, as Tommy Osborne reports, concerns remain for some who live in the immediate area.
Discussion around a potential new housing development continued on Monday's City Council meeting, where a public hearing was held. Located in the area of 8640 St. Lawrence Avenue and 2800 Vista Ridge Drive, this development has been scaled down since initial talks, going from 125 dwelling units a hectare to 75 dwelling units a hectare. It also restricted secondary uses of the area, like convenience stores, clubs, retail, and more, to address public concerns surrounding congestion, density, traffic, and more.
Southridge right now is really congested, especially around school times, and they're also talking about putting a stop sign at the bottom of the hill of Southridge and St. Lawrence, and the residents just identified that as a hazard. It's a blind corner, it's slippery in the winter.
The applicant, L&M Engineering, says a traffic report shows traffic would be manageable with road extensions and reworks, and that everything is up to code. Some councillors and citizens at the public hearing floated the idea of expanding Ospika Boulevard, which certainly would go a long way towards solving traffic issues, but is it feasible?
The Ospika extension it could be literally decades down the road, and if we start tackling something like that in the next 5-10 years, we are looking at tens of millions of dollars. We don't even know the cost, so we have other infrastructure projects to put forward.
Other councillors say they understand the concern some residents have, but believe housing has to be built amid an ongoing housing and affordability crisis.
Not everybody is going to want more housing in their backyard, but we have opportunity. We have our opportunity to make it effective, to make it fill the area, and that's why I felt we should go ahead with it.
While there was disagreement around the new plan and how to go about this potential development, Council did vote in favor of continuing to discuss and explore this, which will include other Council meetings, public surveys, open houses, and more. Tommy Osborne, CKPG News.
Prince George RCMP is reaching out to the public in the hopes that someone will be able to help identify 2 female suspects in an ongoing aggravated assault investigation. Video was captured on November 5th in the downtown around 6th Avenue and Dominion Street at around 2 o'clock in the morning. It shows 2 women approaching another woman when a verbal altercation broke out. The victim was then assaulted by one of the suspects, suffering severe injuries to her head and face. The first suspect is described as between 40 to 50 years old, 5 foot, 3 inches tall with a heavier set. The second suspect is younger, roughly the same height. Anyone with any information is asked to contact the RCMP, and for the video you can find it on our website at ckpgtoday.ca. More than 24 events are happening across the province as BC Transplant celebrates a milestone year for organ transplants. And today, the celebration moved to the University Hospital of Northern BC, where some lucky organ recipients and their families say thank you. Cheryl Jan brings us the story and a warning: some of the images in this story may be disturbing to some of our viewers.
It was a moment of celebration at University Hospital of Northern BC for both donors and recipients of organs. It's called Operation Popcorn. Rick and Noreen Woodford lost their son Matthew in 2018, and the decision was made to donate 4 of his organs.
We actually got a letter from a young person that got his lungs, and they said that they were just be able to go out for a walk, and they were going to go fishing, and they were going to go for a hike, and just be able to breathe. Just to actually just go outside and walk for the first time in a long time. It was so good to get that.
BC Transplant has reached a milestone: 11,000 transplants. One of the earliest transplants went to Joyce Grantham, who received a new heart 25 years ago.
It was scary. It's very scary. It's a very emotional thing. I immediately phoned my family. I got the phone call about 9 o'clock in the morning. That they had a heart. They phoned. They said, "How are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I've been better. I'm just getting ready to go into my doctor." She says, "Well, we want you down here." And I said, "What do you mean you want me down there?" She said, "We got a heart for you."
Rick Woodford says the number of people in British Columbia walking around healthy today because of an organ transplant would fill this arena, the CN Centre, and then some.
6,200 people in BC are survivors of organ donation, people that are still living and having great lives because somebody donated. We had 6 people that passed away last year waiting for an organ donation, which is a number I'd like to get to 0. We have 1.6 million people signed up to be donors. It'd be nice to get that a little higher so we could not have any of those 6 people passing away. And 6 is also the number of people that got donations in Prince George last year.
According to BC Transplant, 465 transplants were performed in 2022. That's 25 hearts, 54 lungs, 288 kidneys, and 101 livers. And just over 1.5 million British Columbians have registered their decision to donate their organs. And Woodford encourages more.
It takes 2 minutes to sign up. I can't understand why anybody wouldn't. There's a lot of simple analogies, but really once you're at that end of stage of life, you don't need your organs anymore. And somebody else can use them. So why wouldn't you donate them? You donate your clothes and stuff after you go. Why would you not donate your organs?
And while dropping off boxes of popcorn to those who make organ transplants happen may seem a modest gesture, those involved say they have nothing but praise for those who make it happen. Cheryl Jan, CKPG News.
An online petition has been launched in Prince George calling for changes on Highway 16 due to safety concerns. The Change.org petition says the stretch of Highway 16 between the Yellowhead Bridge and Boundary Road is one of the most dangerous roads in the area, as a combination of a lack of lighting and rough terrain make it particularly challenging to drive, especially when conditions are often dark and icy in the wintertime. Frequent wildlife encounters have also caused several accidents in the area, some as recently as November 28th, where a deer was hit by a car and killed, and only hours later another deer was hit in the same area. The Canfor Leisure Pool is now closed for annual maintenance until January 5th, 2025. The closure is scheduled for this period as this is the time that works best with a break in swimming lessons and also what causes the least disruption for the local swimming clubs. The pools will be drained and deep cleaned, and the following scheduled upgrades will be taking place, including tile repairs and replacement, installation of new grading into the leisure pool, as well as regular maintenance. During the closure, the Aquatic Center will operate under extended hours. A provincial state memorial service for former British Columbia Premier John Horgan will be held later this month in Colwood, west of Victoria. Horgan, who died in November after his third bout with cancer, will be remembered on December 15th at the Q Centre Arena, which has a capacity of about 4,000 people. A statement from Premier David Eby's office says the event will be open to the public and more details about how to attend will be released soon. Well, don't be fooled by the warmer temperatures this week, as Environment Canada is calling for a weak La Nina to grace the central interior this winter. A La Nina means colder temperatures, though in our case, they won't kick in until around next month. So just how cold will it be?
It's an interesting question because, what is cold for somebody in PG compared to down here in Victoria, for instance, but also just that we can tip the scales in the favor of a cooler pattern with La Nina, but because it's weak and even a typical regular La Nina still has a lot of noise where it doesn't always deliver on those cooler conditions necessarily. And last year was a super interesting opposite example because we were in an El Nino. It was actually quite robust and quite strong, and we had all varieties of problems with snow as just to the south. I think you had to bail out part of the BC Games from Quesnel, so some of it was hosted in Prince George. Some of the skiing was canceled. It was very treacherous, and yet in the middle of January we had an extraordinarily cold spell that decimated part of the farming world, the wine industry, and down into the Okanagan.
Northern Health has a new cardiac care program for those born with congenital heart disease that have become adults. Sam Bennison has more on this week's To Your Health.
And now To Your Health, brought to you by Hard Drugs, 3rd Avenue Pharmacy, and the Phoenix Pharmacy.
An estimated 1 in every 100 Canadians are born with congenital heart disease. But with a wide variety of issues that can occur, treatment is a complex task.
You can have very simple congenital heart disease where somebody might be born with a single hole in their heart or a valve that's not functioning normally, to very complex heart disease, where maybe they were born with 1 heart pump instead of 2 heart pumps.
As those kids grow up into adults, they have to be constantly monitored, from ultrasounds to stress tests and electrocardiograms.
There's some people who, maybe have moderate complexity, but the valves hasn't really changed in years and everything else looks stable. And they're seen once a year, maybe once every 2 years or 3 years. And there's some people who are having more complications that are having to be seen more frequently, maybe even monthly.
In the past, monitoring had to take place in Vancouver, meaning those with heart conditions in northern BC would need to take regular trips to the lower mainland. But thanks to a new partnership between Northern Health and the Veroni Provincial Adult Congenital Heart Program, some of those patients can get treatment in Prince George.
The reality is that our patients, many of them, they start off being 19, young adults, well into their 70s. And so, especially for the young adults, the people in general, if they're not living in the lower mainland, it can be very difficult to leave your community to come down for care. And in particular, if you're a young person, you've got work, maybe you've got university, you might have a family. So lots of these different considerations. And then, of course, financial, right? It's not cheap traveling down to Vancouver and staying downtown.
Well, the Cardiac Tower is still over a year away, with construction set for fall 2026. This program is an initial step to bringing full cardiac care to Prince George. Sam Bennison, CKPG News.
To Your Health, brought to you by Hard Drugs, 3rd Avenue Pharmacy, and the Phoenix Pharmacy.
The lowest gas price in Prince George is $1.46.9 per litre at Flying J Cardlock. The lowest gas price in BC is in Kimberley at $1.44.9 per litre. Manitoba currently has the lowest gas prices in the country on average at $1.27 per litre. Meanwhile, BC has an average price of $1.65.2 per litre.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Join the Domino's Lunch Club with 25% off all regular price pizzas every day. Visit domino's.ca to join the club.
While the Cougars are currently on a slide, losing 4 of their last 5 games, big news has come out regarding the team captain, Riley Heidt. The Minnesota Wild draft pick was named to Team Canada's World Juniors training camp roster to battle it out for a spot next week for the prestigious U20 tournament. This is Height's final year of eligibility to make the team, and he's put up 34 points in just 20 regular season games for the Cats so far this year. Along with a chance to play with the best junior players in Canada, Height also has the opportunity to play with a longtime friend and former teammate, Bregan Yeager, if he can crack the team.
I've been kind of thinking about it, ever since last year, and worked really hard this summer, and our team's been doing really well, so that correlates to all the success we're having, helps me, and yeah, it's good. I'm super excited to get up there for the 3-day camp, but yeah, today I still got to go make a spot and yeah, go prove myself. So when you look at the the skill in the class around the 05 and 06 age group, it's really good. So just to be a part of that is super cool. It started back in Bantams and through Pee Wee and spring hockey. So for us to both be successful as we've been growing up here. Throughout the hockey years has been cool, and yeah, to do it with him again on that stage is as big as it gets for our age group. So it'd be super cool.
Good evening, everybody. We are looking at another wet forecast ahead, but we'll take you back from today. And yes, our satellite map, just the bulk of our area under overcast skies with, of course, periods of rain throughout most of the day. So that's going to be the trend as we head into our day tomorrow as well. Futurecast showing what's to come. And this is our Wednesday here. Early morning, still periods of rain. And then it kind of fizzles out a little bit through the afternoon. We should be left with a bit of a break as we get later into the day. But another 5 to 10 millimeters is what we are expecting. So a pretty stormy, wet weather trend for our night tonight and into most of our Wednesday. And then for a lot of areas across our region, Thursday should be the break in terms of when we're in between systems, because we are looking at another wave of moisture coming back on Friday. I'll show you more in the extended in just a moment, but Fort St. John -3 for your day tomorrow. We'll sit under overcast skies, a high of about 4 degrees, and looking at mostly showers and periods of rain for the early half of the day. That's the case east to Valemount as well. Southern interior seeing some brighter skies tomorrow, as is the southern half of Vancouver Island. Northern tip of Vancouver Island, though, likely going to see a few more showers falling. Overcast skies in Vancouver. So sort of a mixed bag of weather across much of the province. We are seeing the temperatures get a little bit milder in some places, though. 6 degrees in McBride tomorrow, and you are going to have rain in the forecast. Showers for Quesnel, and then, of course, up towards Fort St. James, Mackenzie. That's not a bad temperature. 5 degrees, 4 degrees, looking pretty mild for the next couple of days. Vancouver, as I mentioned, will be under cloud cover, 8 degrees the high. Colder in Edmonton. Regina returning with all those cold temperatures are back. Yes, -17 with cloud cover tomorrow. You get a break from the snow, but certainly going to have a colder day than it was today. -13 in Winnipeg. Again, snow in the forecast. Further east, we're still seeing some very wintry weather and really heavy snow at times. Montreal -1 for the day tomorrow. So for us, it's rain, and going into our later part of our week, it will likely be rain again. We may see a mix of snow and rain here and there throughout the region, but overall, it is going to be a pretty wet forecast. And as I mentioned, it might only be Thursday that we see the break. So here's Burns Lake, +1 for the night tonight. That's pretty mild. You've got rain and drizzle tonight, intervals of sun and cloud tomorrow, 3 degrees, and then cloud cover for Thursday, Fridays when we're tracking the next wave of moisture. Rain tonight in Mackenzie, +2. We're up to 4 tomorrow, and through the afternoon you should get a break, but the morning hours will be a little bit wet. Sunny sky though returning on Thursday. McBride gets that break from all the wet weather on Thursday, quite mild, 5 degrees. Even tomorrow mild, 6 degrees. Rain and drizzle throughout the day. Quesnel sitting at 0, clouds and showers throughout tonight. A few morning showers tomorrow, probably just cloudy in the afternoon. You'll remain cloudy for Thursday, and then there's the next system that we're watching. So similar to us, but we do have the chance that maybe on later Thursday afternoon we could have some showers returning. Friday though looks pretty wet tonight as well. Tomorrow for the early half, hopefully a bit of a break through the later part of the afternoon tomorrow, but we see those temperatures still hanging around +4 or so, and our overnight low tonight isn't even that cold either. We're still above 0 overnight tonight, so most of the precipitation will be rain.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Join the Domino's Lunch Club with 25% off all regular price pizzas every day. Visit domino's.ca to join the club.
A week after making a coaching change, Spruce Kings general manager Mike Hawes has stayed busy making yet another move this week. The Kings attended goaltender Colin Ray from the Vernon Vipers in exchange for future considerations. In his second season in the BCHL, Ray has posted a 14-9-4 record with a 2.85 goals against average and a .914 save percentage for the Vipers. Hawes said that the team needs to get better in all positions, and a veteran netminder like Ray will help solidify the goaltender spot for the Kings. Tonight, CKP3 showcases the best plays from Monday Night Football in what was surprisingly one of the most exciting games of the season between the Browns and the Broncos.
After a combined 38 points in the first half, there was plenty more where that came from in the final 2 quarters, starting with this heave from Bo Nix.
3rd and 11, down the middle, Mims, he's gone, touchdown, Denver. Marvin Mims walks it in.
To open up the second half, Nix found Mims for a 93-yard TD to extend Denver's lead, but it wouldn't take long for Jameis Winston and the Browns to hit right back.
Can Cleveland answer? They try with Judy. They got him. He's going the other way. Touchdown as the Browns and Broncos trade blows. Wow. 70 yards to the former Bronco, Jerry Jeudy.
In Judy's return to the Mile High City, the 2020 first-round pick put up a career-high 235 receiving yards. While Jameis Winston also set a Browns single-game passing yards record, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows for Cleveland.
As he was headed out of bounds, here's a pick! Intercepted! And that should end the night. McMillan, the other way. Touchdown, Broncos!
Winston's second pick six of the night sealed the deal for the Broncos in an absolute barn burner to wrap up tonight's CKP3.
That's all the time we have tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Tonight, your last look are the icy streets of Prince George that we have currently. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night.